Hello and welcome back to Tommy's Top Picks Weekly Roundup podcast, episode 173. I'm your host, Tommy, joined by John.
How's it going?
Good. It's been a week. Tons of Final Fantasy stuff to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
But at the top of the episode, wanted to just give a heads up. This will be our last episode for 2 weeks. We're gonna
That's such
be
a perfect girl.
we're
Love
gonna
it.
be away, doing things. Won't be able to record for the next 2 weeks. So just wanted to give a heads up. We will be back and just in time for Final Fantasy to actually come out. So we can make a bunch of predictions and then come back and then be like, so what happened?
Yep. I will probably also be obsessively talking about Dune, the video game, because that's the release weekend. So, and
Fun.
I'm assuming we're gonna do it on Sunday, so I will
Yeah.
probably have been in it for 3 days at that point at least.
Cool.
So, yeah, that'll be fun.
I started Expedition 33. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's the best game I've played in a very long time. It's very fun.
Well, a lot of people are saying that.
It's worth a play.
I don't know if I can play a what do they call that quick time type game.
There is a story mode version, and I think the story alone's worth it, but
The story sounded awesome. Like
yeah.
that part I think is unquestionable. It's just I didn't like the quick time
Yeah,
stuff. So if you can
yeah.
skip that, maybe I'm in.
It makes the whole game easier, but you'll get the story then.
Yeah, maybe not. We'll see.
It's fun. It's cool. Maybe just watch or read a synopsis or
Watch
something.
some videos. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Very interesting new IP. But we're here to talk about cardboard.
Yep.
We both drafted Tarkir recently, and then we put our draft decks against each other, and it was a ton of fun.
It was. That was actually probably the most fun we've had doing draft decks in a while because I feel like they're pretty well matched. Like it was definitely a back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed it. So mine was the Boros style go wide with some really good balance and removal and synergies and like plus ones and stuff like that, which was pretty sweet. And then you played two different ones, right?
Yeah, Abzan, white, black, green. So 2 different versions of that. Oh, and then no, the second version had some red as well. So everything but blue.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good.
Yep. I'm hard stuck in gold. I haven't been able to make it out of gold this season playing this stupid Is It Prowess deck. But I'm getting better. I'm gold 1 now. Like I'm close. And maybe it's just I haven't played enough yet this season. That could be it
definitely
too.
me. Yeah, I know I have not played as much just because my workload has gotten crazy and
I've stayed on top of my quests. The quests are all done, but
yeah, I think I'm
I
at
haven't been playing much more than that.
3, and I never really got higher. But I also haven't played enough to get higher. Like that's as high as I've gotten, just kind of slowly grinding the climb, and I just haven't played enough. So
right. But yeah, that's what I played.
Rakdos
Oh, and I played some Oblivion, but that's not Magic. Just talking about what we played this week. The new Oblivion game is also, or the remaster is really fun. Yeah. Did you get anything at the TCG player? 10%
Yeah, I was out of town.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I missed it. And I didn't sell anything either. I was really kind of sad about that because those usually sell stuff, and I was like, I can't. So I was away this weekend, and in a couple of days I'll be traveling for weeks. So I was like, I can't turn it on and then come back to a massive queue of crap I have to get out the door in 2 days while I'm trying to pack and finish all my work stuff. And I was just like, I can't do it. I really wanted to turn on the shop, but I was like, it's too risky. If I sell like 50 things, I'm totally screwed. So I did not.
Yeah.
What about you?
I sold a couple of boxes of Neon Dynasty Draft.
Nice.
That I got real cheap back when it was like $70. They're now like 115.
Yeah,
and I just have a ton of them, so I was just like, those can go. And I sold my Midnight Hunt collectors that I got for $70 or $80 for 150. So
you got a collector's box for $70 or $80
on Amazon.
Oh, was that the dump?
Yeah.
Oh, the infamous dump
The
from
Midnight
all that
Hunt. Yeah.
time ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. I didn't
Holy
honestly. I forgot that I even
moly!
put it up, listed it, because when I saw the
And
sale
it
go
just
through, I was
sold.
like, oh, cool.
That happens a lot. It
Yeah.
happens to me all the time.
Like I didn't. I mean, I'm not angry about it, but that was surprising.
You're like, where the fuck?
Yeah.
Where'd that box come from?
Yeah.
I did buy something over the weekend,
Oh yeah.
not from the TCG player sale. I bought that Final Fantasy collector box you linked.
Yeah. So we'll get to,
Even though I was out
we
of
can jump
town,
to that.
yeah, you pinged me, and I was like, all right, fine. Like I clicked through and used like PayPal, so like
Yeah.
autofill
Yeah.
and stuff. I was like, yeah, fuck it, it's worth
Yeah.
it.
Right. It's under MSRP. Like
Yeah,
so.
I was like, yeah, worst case scenario, it bumps and then comes down, and I'm like basically break even, and I don't really care. Maybe I'll just open it.
Yeah.
You know, good side, it acts like
If it
Mercury
even
doubled
comes,
like day. Well,
I
that is
am
the
getting
question. You said
concerned.
you trusted that one, but
I trust the
boy,
site.
was that a cheap freaking price.
No, so I trust the site, and I trust that they would put it at that price because they're comics place, right? It's Midtown Comics. In case anyone's curious, I would order any like back issues that I was trying to find, or if like my store sold out of an issue, I would always, or like they didn't have certain variants, I would typically order. So I've ordered from them since 2012. So they are a thing. I've visited their physical locations in New York City multiple times. They are a massive store. So it makes total sense to me that if they got Magic, that they would put it up for MSRP and then a slight discount for pre-order and not even like look at the secondary market. Like they would they're a kind of store that's so big that they go off of MSRP.
Right.
But what has me concerned is it's still available for pre-order.
Yeah, I don't believe their quantity.
I don't think that they will get the quantity that they ordered.
Yeah,
So
yeah, agreed. So it will probably get canceled and I get my money back, and I won't cry because honestly, I wasn't really planning on buying Final Fantasy at all.
I wasn't.
until
No,
you said that.
I wasn't either. I was just like,
Yeah.
I'll grab my play. I have 2 cases of play boxes coming. Both all 12 for 140 a box. But so happy with that because that may be an issue down the road. But yeah, I'm just concerned that I'm not paying 720 for the normal TCG player price.
It's all lies. The whole thing is lies.
So we'll see if Midtown Comics comes through because I ordered 4, so we'll see.
I thought about like going hard, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
I was
Like,
talking to my wife
I
about
don't
it.
want
I
the
was like,
risk. I
just
don't
think
want the
about like if
position.
it comes through, that's free money. It's just
It is
easy
free money, but I just don't want to sell them. I
and
don't
I
want
just
to deal
don't
with it.
believe
Like,
it. Yeah.
yeah, there's so many reasons not to trust that.
Oh, I know. So I trust the store, so we'll see. But
Yeah, it's fine if it gets
worst
canceled.
case scenario, I get my money back. So
Yeah.
But it's still up if you want to try. They have all the things. They have the bundles, the gift bundles, the collector packs, the collector commander for under 500, the regular commander for 223, which is a pretty good deal. And what makes me think that they just did it off of MSRP because they did the play booster the same way, 20% off. It's at 167 and MSRP is 209.
Lies, man. It's all
What's
lies.
funny is they don't sell the starter deck by itself. You have to buy a carton of them, which is 12. You have to buy 12 starter decks.
Why? That doesn't even make sense for a retail store to do it that way, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, thought that was interesting. But on the TCG player sale, on the play boxes, it sold 5,542 boxes on the sale day on Friday.
What's that compared to other things? Do you know?
It is the amount that it had sold up until then. Like all the play boxes that had sold up until that day, it doubled. It was at like 5,500, and then now it's at 11.
I see.
Total sold.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. And what's crazy about that is after about 5,000, it went back up to 170. So that 542-ish after they stopped the deal, the $144.99 box price that they were doing as part of the sale deal. It continued to sell at the 170 mark. And now we're in the 180s.
It is Final Fantasy after all.
With under 1,000 left on the market. They are play boxes. More can come to market, obviously.
Oh yeah, for sure will. They already said there's more coming.
Right. But I was looking at the allocation doc. There's no Final Fantasy. Not even play.
It happens. Remember, we had this
it goes away.
same conversation with Tarkir.
Yeah.
It always everything vanishes right before release, and then it shows back up. That's
right.
It's just, do collector boxes ever show up again? With Tarkir, the answer was no, even though historically the answer has been yes. That was my argument with Tarkir. Is like, I don't really know, because typically the collector boxes do vanish, and then on release day they show up again, but only for like a week, like very quick, and then they're gone forever. And I was like, is that going to happen with Tarkir? And my guess is that it did not happen at all, because Tarkir was so popular and oversold, you know. And I imagine Final Fantasy will be the same thing, because good God, like, it's out of control, man.
Yeah, it's wild. The amount of demand for it.
They're fantasies that are finalized.
Like, so what do you want? We can do
what are we talking about?
You wanted to compare it to another set. What set do you want to compare it to? Like Bloomburrow?
Yeah, sure. Or Tarkir, maybe, because Tarkir was super popular.
Yeah. Go. Pre-release, because we're still on pre-release. Total boxes sold. Final Fantasy is at 24,000, and Dragon Storm was at 32,000.
Okay, so it's actually underperforming. No, because we're not done yet, right? We still have another 2 weeks or whatever. Yeah.
We have almost a month, John.
Is it a month? I couldn't remember exactly when it released.
It's the 13th.
Yeah, so it has time to catch that extra 10K. But that is telling, though. That does say something. Like, people were really into Tarkir, and Final Fantasy might not be selling as well, at least on TCG Player.
But the amount spent is already over.
That's going to be higher because the price is higher.
Yeah.
So that I don't really count as a valid comparison. Really.
No, because the product is more expensive.
Yeah, for same packs and everything. So, what was the last IP product? Comparison to that might
Lord of the Rings is really.
No, there hasn't been anything since Lord of the Rings for IP.
They were just Commander and collector boxes. Lord of the Rings had play and set.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which actually, in pre-release right now, it's almost tied. So Final Fantasy will surpass Lord of the Rings, but right now, it's at 24,505 boxes for Final Fantasy. It was 24,692 that sold in Lord of the Rings pre-release.
I do wonder if this one's so popular that TCG player data is basically invalid.
It could be.
Because everyone's going to stores, because they already told us.
Oh yeah, TCG player is just
Final
a segment
than anything else, right? Yeah. And so that means the stuff is moving now. Was that distro that bought it all and they're holding on to it? Was it, you know what I mean? Like, the question becomes what happened after Wizards sold it. But Wizards sold more Final Fantasy already than any other set they've ever sold.
Yes.
So, but the numbers don't seem to be reflecting that fully based on what we're seeing for TCG player data.
No, but it could be like you said, other stores.
Well, and again, when it's popular, people probably go to their local store and say, "Hey, I want to
make sure I get this
pre-order." Exactly. I'm not waiting online or dealing with some person across the country. I want someone I can
canceled
look in the
orders.
Eye. Yeah, exactly. You know, like that is a thing. And with something like this, where the demand is known to be high,
and the prices are so high,
there's that too.
Because on the it sold 355 of the collector boxes from 720 to 800 was the range that they were sold.
Yeah. It's
Now it's
crazy.
back down to 720, but it's, I mean, there's less on the market. And I don't know.
I guess there's also the potential that the way WotC is declaring this the best-selling product of all time is on financial number.
Could be.
So it could be
Just
just
per
because
pack,
the
they're
price
making so
is
much money.
higher. Yeah, it could that could be the number that was or the statement that was
Yeah.
quoted.
Yeah.
It could be that they were talking
The
about. So
physical quantity wasn't more. It
wasn't
was,
necessarily, but their income, which is what they were, it was a stock market type announcement, right? Like it was for their shareholders.
yeah.
So
And I
uh,
have heard it listening to a couple other YouTubers who run stores. They've talked about how the play boxes are kind of pushed back, right? Like the new foundations, the new Bloomborough, the new all that stuff that was supposedly coming just keeps getting pushed back. A lot of them are hearing from their reps that uh, they were all pushed back even further and delayed a little bit just so that they could keep the printers running for Final Fantasy.
oh yeah,
And so Final Fantasy is going to have effect on the other boxes but will that matter because Final Fantasy is a black hole and will just suck up all the money and there's no interest in the other sets? Or do the other sets start to rise because there's still equal demand for play? But there aren't as many of them.
I don't think we'll know till we're done with this. Final
Oh, well,
Fantasy is
no,
such a
no,
big variable.
no. But like towards the end of the year, it'll be really interesting to look at where all the standard play boxes are,
Yeah.
just based on not being able to keep up with demand. Let alone like the collector boxes, obviously, is one thing, but I think we may see a shortage on play boxes
I could see that. I
because like
wonder
we're
how they're
already seeing
gonna.
it with Tarkir, like, and then
Yeah.
they paused everything for to go crazy on Final Fantasy, and if that's still not enough to
Yeah,
meet
they're
Final
just trying
Fantasy
to
demand.
match it. Yeah, match the demand. It makes
But
sense for them to do that.
I mean, and one thing to acknowledge is that I think is just warping people's minds with seeing the crazy 180 for a play box is MSRP is 209. So it's still not even at MSRP. It's below still.
It's true. It's
So
true.
it's not like
It's not
they're
like Pokemon.
it's not gone. It's not people are getting allocated like crazy. Although some stores are getting zero play boxes from some distros based on this, like who their main distro is with WPN, like through who their host. They have to when they become a WPN store, they have to pick a main distributor, and that's how they get their main allocation of collector boxes and play boxes. So that's where you're kind of guaranteed a certain amount. Um, but the other ones are all kind of it's how much you spend with them matters more.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just interesting learnings I've had this week of how that works.
Crazy products.
Yeah.
We will see what happens with this stuff. I don't know, man.
And I'm not seeing play boxes come back up anywhere for sale at that 140 anymore after Friday.
Surprise! No one actually likes Final Fantasy at all, and all the hype is totally false.
Yep, it's
No,
true.
not buying it.
No one wants
Yeah, I
it.
don't buy that. I don't buy that at all.
It is kind of cool, and what I do really like about it though, and why I'm not going to be upset if the collectors get canceled, is the only thing in the collectors, as far as I can tell, that's not in the play boxes
It's a
are
chocobo.
the golden chocobo, the neon ink chocobos, and the fancy version of commander cards. Well, commander cards in general.
Yeah, but that's
The commander subset.
but that's pretty high demand section of cards right there. You
Not
don't
for
think?
my needs. But I mean, yeah, sure. But I mean for
I
holding
mean,
boxes.
flashy shit is almost always fueled by commander, right? Like you don't
Yes.
flashy your
Well,
standard or
that's the
your
commander.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So the flashy shit in a collector box is typically commander focus, so that they hit. The collectible is in the collector box, so that they hit with the neons and go look back at the last neon set, right? They did
Yeah.
very well
Neon
for the long.
Dynasty.
Yeah. With the 4 neon cards though, they're still into like ridiculous thousands of dollars per,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh yeah.
And then there's 77 of the golden chocobo. Is that correct? The serialized?
77, yeah.
Yeah. That I think probably has the least impact on the box price because everyone just kind of commits to, yeah, I'm not getting that.
I don't.
You know,
It's more people commit to it than I'm not getting
it,
the 1-of-1 ring though.
I agree. That's well, but they had other stuff in that box, so you can't really give a straight comparison. They had all the different
Absolutely. There was
things.
way
Yeah,
more in that box. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like it's
They
not
had
a fair
the
comparison.
soul rings that
The
aren't
previous
serialized but
set,
basically are.
yeah, the previous sets that have done this, I was saying just ignore it because their chance of getting it really slow, but are low. But we'll have to see over the next, call it 6 months or so, if they keep doing this, does it hold the price in the long run? I'm guessing it probably will in the long run because, like me, if you guys recall, I like opened every box I had that could have gotten a serialized card because I was just like, I'm bored. I want to open boxes, and like that, if that was on my shelf, I would do that. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it forces more to get opened, which then reduces the supply, which then should increase the cost. So I mean, I think it's a good engineering tactic. We just don't have the data yet to support because they've only done this like only one thing serialized.
Yeah.
What, the past two sets now? I think that's it.
Yep. Yeah. Aether
So
Drift and Innistrad.
yeah, sounds right. Yeah, because there's
Oh
no
no, and Tarkir.
Tarkir had serialized.
Yep. The Jasper.
Oh, that's right. It had, yeah, yeah, yeah. It had yeah. So yeah, okay. So it's been a few
Three
then.
sets. 3 sets.
Yeah, but not long enough where they're all in the like it's out of supply. You know, they're just past their like initial
Right.
burst.
Right.
So we shall see.
Yeah.
It's another interesting design decision that though will change by the time we have the data to actually look
Yeah.
at.
Yeah. For sure. But I don't know, just
Yes.
hunches. I'm making a play on the play boxes, but we shall see.
How many play boxes did you get?
12.
4 million.
12.
Do you think it's a good idea since they already said they're going to reprint it?
Yes.
Probably right. It is Final
Getting
Fantasy. Yeah.
do you think they'll come back down to 140 when they reprint it and the demand's still super high?
No.
Yeah.
No. Seems unlikely.
No. And and the reason I did it was because one, I need at least one case because I need one case of every play box because that's what I'm doing. And then the other case, I am gonna crack open because we are gonna draft it. And we have friends that really like Final Fantasy that I'm sure I could convince to draft with us this way. And then the other boxes will just sit on the shelf if we continue to want to draft it, or I can move them, or they just sit on the shelf. So, which I'm not gonna be mad about them sitting on the shelf either.
I mean, still Final Fantasy.
Exactly. I think it'll do well in the long run. Because eventually, 3 years from now, when it's out of standard, that'll be the blast print run.
Yeah.
And the years just keep going by quicker and quicker.
Oh
So
my
thinking about
god.
holding something for 3 years doesn't scare me anymore.
Well, yeah, for sure. Once you do it, that's
Yeah.
actually a really good point. As you age, it's like time is a lot faster
It's
than
like,
you
wait,
think.
I only have to wait 5 years? Oh,
That's
okay.
nothing.
I can do
That's
that.
like a flash, yeah. 5 years passed, my stuff's going up.
Yep.
Suddenly I'm selling boxes that I've been holding on to. It's like, oh, what happened? Why are they selling?
Yeah.
Oh, it has been 5 years, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, there's some crazy cards in this too, so you probably
Mm-hmm.
can't regret it. Because I have a
No.
feeling this is going to be a peak power level for a while. I guess
Yeah. I
maybe
mean,
Spider-Man, but I doubt it.
no. They've already come out and said that this is going to be the most powerful set of the year.
Oh, like
Rosewater said.
it like the most powerful. I thought it was one of the powerful ones. I
No,
didn't hear
he
that
said
it
it
was
was the most powerful set of the
okay,
year.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, you totally. It's a win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then there's no reason not to do that.
No.
Unless they're just wrong on what actually constitutes power, but I doubt it.
Sure. Yeah. No, they know what they're talking about.
I did see a 2-card combo. I wish I had saved that, but I forgot about it. That was in the set. I think it was draftable, and it was nuts. And I was like, "Holy crap! This set is gonna be busted."
Yeah. The full art lands are gorgeous too.
Yeah. Speaking of some of the art, I decided I like some of those. The full arts I had sent you some.
Good.
Baron
Yes.
Rivalry and
Yeah.
Vayne Karad Soldier, whatever Karadas Soldier. Um, Some of those full arts actually do look good. The first ones we saw of it, I did not like. I think there one was like a watercolor style or something, and maybe
Yeah,
another was a
woodblock.
pencil. Yeah, I did whatever it was. I didn't like the style, but it looks like they're doing like
There's multiple different styles.
yeah, choose your own style for the
Yeah.
artist that does the card. So they pick their art, format they want to present, and then it's a full art treatment, and then it's Final Fantasy. So that's all automatically a win. So, you throw those together, you get the right combo, and it's a powerful card, beautiful art, full art card, all that stuff. It's going to be bonkers for some of these. And like I said, I finally saw a few that I was like, oh, yeah, that's I actually like that art. But the first ones, I was like, oh, these are ugly. I was
Yeah.
totally against them. Less so now. Less so now.
And all of those you can get in a play box.
Yep. Yeah. So what's exclusive in the collectors? It's just the Chocobo and
It's
the.
the Golden Chocobo, the Neon Ink Chocobos, and the Commander cards.
And that's it. That's exclusive. There's nothing else.
I think some of the borderless stuff is only non-foil.
Oh, and then you get the foil one in the
Yeah.
collectors. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They did that before. I don't remember which set, but they did that fairly recently. That's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
So if you want your blingy ones, but typically the foil ones are less interesting because they.
I prefer the non-foil.
There's a few treatments where it's like, oh, that's really nice, but generally speaking, I agree. Like non-foil is the way because foil just Pringles.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess the Through the Ages is kind of like a big score. Like there's a subset.
What does that mean?
Like a big score in Thunder Junction. It's a subset that is you have a random chance of getting one of those cards in the play pack
Oh, that's interesting.
that aren't standard legal but are limited legal if you draft them.
So they brought that mechanic or construct back for it.
Yeah, so there'll be cards in the draft that won't be in the standard.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super hyped to draft this. I haven't drafted anything on Arena. I'm just saving everything to just go crazy when this comes out.
Yeah, I was pretty uninterested in this set, but my curiosity has definitely been piqued with all the stuff we're seeing.
Yeah. It's gonna be
Starting
fun.
to look around and be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Some of that animate full art, like Commander looking, like legendary creature. So
Yeah.
obviously Commanders, like there's some hotness in this set for sure.
Oh yeah, I agree. No, it's gonna be
And
fun.
of course, Moogles. Who
Yeah.
who gets away from a Moogle without wanting it?
Exactly. They're adorable.
They are. Yeah, so there's gonna be good stuff, and I am not a huge Final Fantasy fan, so if I'm saying that, that means like anyone that's even semi Final Fantasy, much less the mega fans, are going like losing their freaking mind right now.
Yeah. So this is again why I'm really excited that Final Fantasy's going first and Spider-Man's second.
I get it. I get it.
And of course they had to launch Spider-Man on my birthday. So like it's just I'm gonna be so financially irresponsible.
Yeah.
It'll be okay. No, I'm really looking forward to Spider-Man. But it is interesting to see how this is doing and what there will be a difference in the collectors, and then they don't have the serialized card on the box yet. So there may not be a serialized card in Spider-Man. So I wonder if that affects the price of the collector box.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's been a while since they haven't done a serialized. So maybe it's just
it just isn't revealed yet because I feel like that, like with Final Fantasy, they took a while to reveal it too, right? It wasn't with the first set of reveals.
Correct, but when the box got shown off, it had the thing on that said may contain serialized cards.
Oh,
I see. The Spider-Man box has been shown off and doesn't have that.
Got it. Okay, well, yeah, then you might be right. Maybe they don't have it.
But I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think, yeah, standard's going to change a lot. I haven't dove too far into the spoilers yet, but from what I've seen, I feel like this is going to... I've already seen how cards can fit into decks. Or just there's going to be new decks. I think there will be a lot of new decks coming out of this set for Standard and Pioneer. because I think people will just want to play with these cards.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything that looks like it's a massive game changer for Pioneer, but I also have not looked that closely at everything, you know?
Yeah.
They did do a couple of reprints of popular cards, so that was a good idea.
Mm-hmm. That's
Uh,
the Through the Ages. I think that's where the reprints are.
is that the subset?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Oh, that's
Here, I'll
good.
send it
They've
to you.
done that before. Yeah, they've done
Yeah.
that before.
They're all really pretty art. Like that's where the ancient copper dragon is.
That's the one I didn't like. Now I'm remembering the art I didn't like that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Master Zandal, I didn't like that one.
The
Copper
deadly
Dragon's not terrible, but it's not my favorite.
the deadly dispute is really good. The Ristic Study is really good. Brainstorm.
Oh, the Brainstorm. I
Mm-hmm.
love that card in general. I love that friggin' art.
Mm-hmm.
That is cool.
And it's from a Final Fantasy game you played.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I recognize that little one
Yeah, it's
in the
14.
front.
Mm-hmm.
That is 14. I don't recognize literally anyone else in that.
You met all of them.
I'm sure I
We
have.
were there. I was there.
I know. I know.
Yeah. No, there's a bunch of really strong ones. Atroxa Grand Unifiers in here. Not that that's a crazy expensive card, but and just really iconic Final Fantasy art.
They did a new Atraxa.
It's the same Atraxa.
Well, I mean, a new art for
Yeah,
Atraxa
yeah,
Grand Unifier.
that's what I just said.
Oh, I miss you saying Atraxa.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm just looking through the subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Yeah, some of this art's great. Some of it sucks. Kind of
Yeah.
mixed bag. Oh, it's
Definitely
cool. They're
the
giving us some
furthest.
reprints though.
Yeah, definitely the furthest, most different looking Magic cards that I've seen in a while.
They are absolutely in Final Fantasy art style, which
Oh,
is very
absolutely. Yeah.
much not Magic art style.
No,
So
no,
yes,
not the
they
art
look.
style, but the actual
Oh,
card design, like the names and the pips and the text and
oh,
just the
why
way
is
the
that?
borders are down at the bottom. And
What? They look like normal cards. What are you talking about?
it's like is I think because they're the different font.
Oh, are you still looking at the one set? The
The Through the Ages.
reprints? Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha, gotcha.
that's what I was talking about. Not
I
just
thought you
Final
were, yeah, I
Fantasy.
thought
No,
you were
no,
talking about all of them. I was like,
no, no,
what?
no.
They
The
all look
Through the
very
Ages specifically.
Got it. Yes, 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 yes. Those are very unique.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because even the borderless have the like round off down at the bottom, whereas
Yeah,
these are
goofy font that I
horizontal all
hate.
the way across.
It's okay though. They made it acceptable when they actually made some pretty cards.
Yeah.
It works way better than on those first ones.
Yeah, I agree. But I think we're both excited. It'll be fun. You're more
Yep,
excited than you thought you'd be. I'm just about as
definitely.
excited as I thought I'd be.
What's your of the cards that are coming out? What's your favorite? What's the thing that's grabbed your attention the most?
Um, Probably this Nibelheim Aflame. It's a sorcery, 2 red, 2 colorless. Choose a target creature you control. It deals damage equal to its power to each other creature. If this spell was cast from your graveyard, discard your hand and draw 4 cards. And it has flashback 5 and 2 red.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think for me, the thing I'm most interested in is some of these summon sagas
Those are super cool.
because they're gonna definitely. I haven't done the math. Like I haven't looked at pips and stuff for all of them to see like where this would fit, but it would definitely enhance my Narcy deck. Because maybe not. I can't remember when they get turned into creatures. That doesn't trigger her last effect, does it? Because it transforms. It doesn't whatever sacrifice. Is that correct? I think that's correct. So never mind. I was excited for Narcy, but
Hmm.
if I recall correctly, her thing won't work if they transform because it's literally a different
Oh,
set of rules text, and her like second value for a saga is that when you sacrifice it. Now, I guess if I built, because she does have black green, if I built it with the idea that I sacrifice them, so I'd have to get some sack support cards. But now you're talking about a whole different deck.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. Well, I was excited about those. Now I'm not.
Could look at Tom Bombadil again because they're sagas.
I don't remember. How's he work?
Whenever they finish, you look for another one.
Yeah, but they don't finish because
There's
they
some
turn into
sagas that do.
creatures.
Those are the summons, yeah. But
Yeah.
there are some
Well, the
sagas.
summon's a cool thing. That's like the new
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I was trying to do something cool with them, but
Is there any commander that's built around like flipping things?
probably. Yeah. Probably one of the werewolves or something. Oh, I did see a card. Someone pointed out some deck tech. Fog of Werewolves or something like that. Fog of Wolves. And basically it says anytime a human transforms, X happens. And people are like, oh my God, because it's a lot. There's a lot of humans that transform
Yeah,
in this set. They're like, I never thought about using the werewolf card for like Sephiroth and like,
yeah,
the Dark
yeah.
Knight and stuff because they're all humans that can transform. And so people were very excited about that. I think you have to play in green because I'm pretty sure that was a green card, but
I agree.
that was pretty interesting tech that someone was talking about. And I was like, oh, that interesting. Makes sense. I don't know the cards well enough to know like to get excited, but it sounded interesting.
Yeah. No, I think there's gonna be a lot of cool stuff for a lot of different formats.
They're gonna break everything.
Basically. But I hope that means that Spider-Man isn't just like underpowered.
Probably.
That poor Airbender at the end of the year.
Is that still happening?
Yes, they didn't
Oh
cancel it.
God, I thought they canceled it.
No, nope. It's the last set of the year. But
There's only one. Like there's only a Japanese print of the black chocobo.
yes, but
Is
you can
that
get it in English boosters.
But that is a neon ink style. Does that count as like a rare one or something?
It counts as
Oh
a
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm looking at it now. Interesting. What's your favorite chocobo?
The gold one.
Is it really?
I mean, obviously, why wouldn't it be?
I don't know.
Which is yours?
I guess the black one. I always liked the black one in the games. Like I spent too much time trying to get the black chocobo.
But you had to do. I forget exactly what it was. But you had to do some crazy stuff to get the gold one.
Yeah, I don't think I ever got the gold one, which
Yeah,
is why I don't have strong feelings about it. I
yeah.
got the black one though, and I was very excited about that, and I loved it dearly. And all those feels you get when you're a kid trying to do something that's really hard like
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I don't think I ever got to the gold.
I didn't, but no, I have friends who did.
Way cooler than you, huh?
Way or yeah, they didn't play World of Warcraft. Whenever I was playing a game that wasn't WoW, I just played it so I could beat it and then go back to WoW. Or Warhammer. I was into Warhammer at that time. I had too many
Yeah.
hobbies.
Isn't
Just
being a child
one of
grand?
those two is too many hobbies.
Yes.
So,
When you're a kid and you have nothing but free time.
oh yeah, yeah. I don't know how I did it. Yeah, I was a kid and had more free time.
Yeah, you were a kid. That's exactly the way I described.
Yeah. Cool. Well, what do we got for economics? Unless you got anything more Final Fantasy.
You want to talk about any particular cards? Is that it?
We did. We talked about a bunch of cards.
Oh, I'm just saying, is there any in particular beyond that? Nothing?
There's the. Oh no, I gotta find it again.
Well, you fail. You fail. Tommy did not do his homework. He's not prepared for today's podcast. We are deducting 5 points from his house.
What do you mean? I put a bunch of things in the notes. I mean, there's the jumbo
Cactuars.
cactar too, which is really
Yeah.
cool. There's a bunch of shenanigans you can do with that, flinging
A
it at
lot of
people.
multicolor legendaries that will make good commander decks. I
Oh
wonder
yeah.
where I'll land on that. I did see a blue red, like an is it
Oh, the little mage guy.
yeah, that one looked cool. I was very tempted, but I feel like a lot of people are going to jump on that right away, so I'll wait until.
Yeah, because I think he's only 3, 1 blue red.
Yeah, yeah. And he pumps, I think, every time you cast a spell, so it's like a spell slinger deck pumping your commander to swing, Seems good.
Yeah. Vivi. 0 cost ability. Add X mana in any combination of island or mountain, where X is Vivi's uh, power. Activate only during your turn
Oh, it's a
and once
cantrip.
each turn. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it deals 1 damage to each opponent.
No, this is a stupid card. Holy crap. Now I see why people are hyped about it.
Yeah, that's yeah, I get it.
You just do cantrips, right? And
Yeah,
then every time you do it, you get well, you can't do it every turn. Okay, I do see. They do put a limiter on it. It's not like super infinite, but um yeah, that's fun. Little cantrip guy.
hmm but he's just getting +1/+1s like crazy
Yeah, no, he's a pumping
because there's not a
and
limit to that.
yeah, no, he's the easy mode. It's not really Transformer or whatever Voltron, but it kind of
Yeah,
is.
yeah. Keep him alive and just keep pumping him.
Mm-hmm. And all those cantrips could just be like, let me go brainstorm,
Yeah,
let me go. Like it's just card draw and getting yourself in a position where you have the ridiculous combo and finisher and protection and blah blah blah, whatever you need.
yeah. And each one of those is
And they have
triggering
a
a
cool
damage.
alt art. Yeah,
hmm
and you're pinging the whole way. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And the alt
actually, I
art's
have
cool.
a feeling this is going to be one of those kill on sight type commanders. So probably not a lot of fun because people will be like, no.
I may after as a reward for learning how to play Is It, maybe I'll build it.
Yeah. Yeah, then you have access to all the cool spells and try to figure out what makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, anyways, you didn't want to go into individual cards too much, so
No, we can if you want. If there are other ones that
I didn't have any in particular. I
okay.
thought you might, so
Oh,
it's all good.
no, I've been trying to stay kind of spoiler free so that I can have a clear draft.
Do you have a favorite waifu?
I don't.
Yeah, I have to say I have to give it to Tifa,
Mm-hmm.
just because childhood me
Sure.
loved Tifa. I guess it's at least anyone of my generation, it's Aerith or Tifa, or you're like
Yeah. Right.
you fell in love with one of them as a kid. You don't have a choice; it's required by law. If you played Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I mean, Tifa looks good. 1 in a green, trample, landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, double Tifa's power until end of turn.
Nothing wrong with that in green.
No, it's fine.
Perfectly fine.
There's a
It's
couple
not like
Tifas.
crazy out of control, but it's
No,
definitely good.
no. No, it's the same one, different style.
Oh yeah, they do have the two art styles, which is some of them are pretty awesome looking.
Yeah. No, I really like the borderless. I like the extended art. I like the regular cards too. I know it's cool seeing them in just like the regular Magic card borders too.
Yeah, it's they did a good job on all the art, honestly, except for those weird pencil ones I don't like.
The wood block ones.
Yeah,
There's also side quest catch a fish at the beginning of
yeah,
your
we haven't seen any more of those, have we? It's
no
only side
side
quests.
quest. Yeah.
So what is it exactly? Is it a saga?
It's an enchant. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's an artifact or creature card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. If you put a card into your hand this way, create a food token and transform this enchantment. Then it becomes a land, so it's ramp, kind of. And then taps for a plains Or 3 and tap, sacrifice an artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Activate as a sorcery. That seems good.
It does.
You can sacrifice the food token.
Well, and I was thinking Hobbit decks and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Consistent way of just +1ings.
Do you see the God, the Ultima Origin of Oblivion?
Mm-hmm.
It blights your lands and turns them into colorless.
Yep.
It's mean. Really mean.
And whenever you tap 1, it's 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's only 5. I feel like that's going to be a bomb in limited.
I think it's
'Cause
gonna
you
be a
could
bomb in a lot because that goes to Eldrazi, right? That's like an
Uh-huh.
Eldrazi Empower.
Uh-huh.
That's gross. That is gross.
And maybe I can slide Aerith into my life gain deck because it's 2 and a white life link. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 on it. So that fits right in. And then whenever she dies, put X +1/+1 counters on each legendary creature you control, where X is the number of it on this one. Which I don't. I only have one other legendary in the deck, which is probably the card that I would have taken out. No, I wouldn't have taken that out.
Mm.
So there's only one other legendary. So, but still, it still kind of does the thing that there's another card that when it dies, it puts its +1/+1 on another thing.
All right. Moving forward.
I've been
Economics.
sure.
What were you about to say?
I don't know. I've been having really fun trolling people on Arena with my life gain deck. I've maxed out at 400 health. It's silly. Because some
That
people
is.
are just like, we get into this infinite loop, and then it's whoever concedes first, pretty much.
Oh, gotcha. So you run into other life gain decks?
No, no. I forget what it was. It was something that just kept making 1/1, so I couldn't get through because I wasn't drawing any more creatures, but they just kept getting bigger and bigger, and each time they swung, it was like swinging a 50-50,
Yeah,
two
into your
50-50s into
ridiculous. Yeah,
1/1s,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then them getting blocked, and then I gain 100 health a turn, and so
That is pretty funny. That's
yeah,
an interesting situation to be stuck in.
because they had I forget, it's the new Elsa uh, Planeswalker that can create 2/1/1 things, and then they had
Mm-hmm.
lands that created the
Mm-hmm.
fish, and so they just kept blocking, and I just kept gaining life, and we got nowhere. Eventually, I conceded with like a crazy amount of health because I wanted to go eat dinner.
I'm glad the algorithm puts you two together.
Me too. It was fun.
You're both toxic as fuck, and I hate that.
It was just fun. All right, we can get
Yeah.
on to economics.
All right, economics. S&P is back to where it was when Trump took office. So since January, it crashed a bunch, and it has been bought back, and we are now back where we left off. I hope some of you out there were able to get some money in the market. I know we talked about getting money in the market.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't, count yourself done yet because just hitting parity, there's this thing called a double top.
Yep.
It's a chart pattern where it taps the same spot twice and then goes down for a long while. So it's possible that's where we're at and what we're seeing. I think there's some indication that there's still some headwinds in the macroeconomic world right now. The tariff thing is still rippling through the system. I've seen some pictures of bare shelves here and there, so that has hit in some places. Again, it's probably mostly West Coast, and it doesn't seem like it's super dramatic yet. But we will see some of that just because I know, just for news sake, everyone, Trump, pulled back on the China tariffs down to 10% for 90 days, right? But the problem is all of the delay on all this stuff. It would have had to been 6 weeks ago, because that's how long it takes to get over here for it to make no impact. So now we have 6 weeks of impact, and then theoretically will be back to normal, assuming this doesn't end up ending in 90 days. So we'll see how it is, what happens out of all of it all. But we will see some disruptions. Like there's going to be some disruptions somewhere. It's not going to be as dramatic as like COVID, which was a
Right.
longer
More
period of
drawn out.
disruption. This is like little sparks of disruption. So God knows what that's going to end up looking like.
Right.
We'll see. So, anyways, point being, like, just because we're at the top does not mean it goes higher, right? It could stop here and go back down. It could go up higher. I'm not saying it won't. It's definitely possible. I don't want to be a complete naysayer on the economy because it's definitely recovered pretty nicely, I wouldn't say quickly, but not too bad. I will say the downside to all this is like, okay, yes, yeah, so he's back where he started, except the global damage from the uncertainty that's now in the system inherently. Everyone's like, is it going to happen again? You know, what about these trade deals that aren't worked out with all the other partners, right? Like China wasn't the only one. I think someone had a count and there's like 177 left to go.
Oh,
It's like that. Yeah, that's not happening. They got 2 trade deals out of like, almost 200 countries, right?
yeah.
Um, so, anyways, point being is we're not through it yet. Just because the market's back to where it was in January, just means it's not as dire as it was during that crash and that sort of thing. So that does happen. Um, I'm happy I bought where I bought. I also am not, heartbroken if it ends up going below there. I'll buy more. And I'm not convinced that it's going to go up, but it could go up. And since I bought where I bought, I'll be happy with that too. So
Yeah.
that's how you hedge yourself and set yourself up in a position where it doesn't really matter which way it goes. You're okay.
Yeah.
And then you just keep playing that market that way. So we'll see. Second thing that was of import this week, Moody, which is one of the rating agencies you guys may remember from '08, that everyone gave a hard time. They were rating stuff incorrectly, which is part of what caused '08 financial crisis. I don't know if you guys know that, but
I didn't
something
know
in
Moody.
yeah, Moody's one of them. Yeah, there's 3 big ones. I don't remember if all of them were involved at that time because some of them may have died in the meantime. I don't remember. But Moody's was definitely involved at the time in '08, so it survived it and it's still there. It was in, I think, either The Big Short, like if you want a movie version of it that gives you some synopsis, Big Short, or I feel like there was another one that was pretty good at pointing it out, but I'm pretty sure Big Short is the one where they pointed out Moody's because one of the main character guys that was trading goes and visits his friend that works in the rating agency office, and they have this scene where they go back and forth, and it's basically revealed to him that they're just like they don't know, they just kind of give a stamp to it because it's their customer. It's like, oh, great. So the people that
Okay.
are giving us these stamps of value are
Wonderful.
literally getting paid by the people that they give the stamp to. So their quote unquote regulation is entirely driven off their desire for profit margins. Anyways, I
Fun.
digress there. Of that rating agency, our AAA rating got downgraded to, it's like AA and lowercase a. I don't know how you say that. So it's
Two
still a
and a
triple
half
A,
A.
but it's I think it called triple A minus or something, and the all caps is triple A plus. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what that is, or how they say it, something like that. Anyways, point being, it got a minute downgrade, not an end of the world thing, not a huge downgrade. It wasn't like, oh, now we're double B or whatever. Like we're not really lower. We're just slightly lower, and honestly, this is way overdue because Moody was the last one. I think the other credit agencies downgraded like over 6 months ago. I don't remember exactly when, but it was a while ago. Uh, so Moody just took a long time, and now I think with the debt and all the other stuff happening, um, they're looking at and saying, yeah, it's time for us to join the party and downgrade as well. So that does affect things. It affects our borrowing costs. So when we go and put bonds out there saying, hey, we want to pay, our bills, so we need to raise some debt, we'll give you X interest rate, right? Well, that interest rate gets affected by this credit rating because there's an additional bit of risk on us saying that we may default, therefore, which it's again, triple A minus, right? Or whatever they call it. It's almost a perfect rating, so it's still very minimal risk, but it's now a little bit more. So when they big, houses do risk algorithms to determine how much of what they can hold and that sort of thing. Because that slight variation, it will affect how it's treated, and therefore it will change the price that they're willing to pay. So it basically makes it harder for us to continue to finance our government and our economy, because it's just a little bit more expensive to borrow. So that's what that means. It's not a big deal again because others have already done it. So it's just kind of catching up to where others are. But it's not great. You definitely don't want this. We were AAA for the longest time on all three agencies. We're talking like decades until relatively recently. So it's kind of it's a bad sign. It's something you don't want to see. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we don't see any more of that. Downgrades, that is. And then the last thing that I thought was interesting, Walmart announced, and this is the one where it's like, okay, shelves empty, people getting mad, that sort of thing, and the bigger impacts that it can have on like individual families and such. Walmart said basically the prices are going to go up. They have to because of the tariffs.
Yeah.
Trump then came out, I think it was yesterday or today. It was like, how dare you
Oh, I saw
raise
that.
the
Yeah, it was
prices?
yesterday.
Yeah. He's like, eat the cost. Well, okay, so that defeats the entire
Yeah.
purpose of his entire economic program. His entire purpose was that this is going to pay for the debt.
Yep.
If it's not going to work, guys. It's not going to work. This just defies the entire goal. So what this ends up doing is it's going to make prices rise somehow. It'll probably be some sneaky way as opposed to just saying everything goes up X amount. They'll do it on essentials that they know that they will sell. So inelastic demand, eggs, bread, butter, the basic stuff. Or honestly, I don't know what else they'll do because they are not going to eat that. Like their stock price would tank. Walmart's stock price would tank if
Yeah.
suddenly they're
If
like,
they had to
yeah,
eat
we're
it.
not as profitable and we will never be again. There's no way they're going to sit on that. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm guessing it has more to do with Walmart giving Trump something he wants, and then suddenly he doesn't care, and they do it anyways. That sort of thing. Because that does seem to be the pattern we're seeing. It's like I mess something up, and then I basically say, "Hey, if you don't want it to be messed up anymore, you should donate to me or buy me a plane or any
Yeah.
number of technically legal bribes seem to be on the table right now with Trump. Um, so that seems to be what's going on. I don't know how it will affect Walmart, and frankly, I'm not a big fan of Walmart. They did a lot to destroy the U.S. economic productivity. So when we complain about the loss of jobs in America, Walmart is a major to blame. They destroyed local shops to be the one shop in the town by undercutting them until the other shops died. And then basically, then they increased prices because now they're a monopoly, a localized monopoly. So it's a very well known business model. Amazon used the same model. And it's pretty disgusting when you consider the implications and the long term impacts it has. It basically destroys local economies and creates this like draw of money from individual local systems like towns, villages, whatever, into mega corporation and ultimately a few very wealthy people's pockets. And it kind of decimates entire parts of the logistics chain. So when you blame manufacturing for leaving the U.S., Walmart is
The reason why.
a culprit, one of the
Yeah. Yeah.
culprits, right? Because some of those jobs were mom and pop shops, right? Now
Yeah.
they weren't creating the plastic goods, but they were mom and pop shops with mom and pop jobs, right? Which means more jobs, small companies. That's how it goes. Anyways, so I'm not too sad that they're getting their butts kicked by this a little bit. That said, because of this situation I just described, Walmart is a monopoly for
Uh huh.
groceries and basic needs and supplies for a lot of America.
Uh huh.
And what ends up happening when they're hurt by tariffs is those prices go up. So, everyday town, working farmers, working, people in rural counties and stuff, this all they have is a Walmart, right? And the prices just went up 15%. So they're going to be hit with this inflation again. And, I'm making up numbers, but they're going to be hit with inflation again, which caused all the strife that caused them to vote for Trump in the first place. They're about to get it a second dose. And they were clearly mad the first time. I don't know how mad they're going to get this time, but hopefully they can do something to help these families out because I have a feeling they're going to be hurting for like serious. Before they had COVID aid and all this stuff, they're not going to get any of that.
Right.
Um, I don't see the Trump administration doing that. So that you're talking large swaths of America who are barely hanging on, just getting gut punched right now with this stuff. So kind of what was predicted. Sucks. It's very terrible. I don't like it at all, but it's where we are, and it's kind of it's to be honest, it is what they said they were going to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they pretty much always said this is how they were going to act. It's just a lot of people didn't realize the implications of that. But
Yeah. What
this
it
is
actually means.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they all thought tariffs were a tax on other
Yeah.
countries.
Yeah.
That's not how that works.
Nope.
So, anyways, that is where that is. So that sucks. But S&P regaining parity does show some strength in the economy. Last week, if you recall, we were talking about unemployment numbers that came
Hmm.
in like in a reasonable place. So like all the big signs are not saying the house is on fire. They're saying it's shaky, it's uncertain, we're not in great times, it's not boom times, right? But it's definitely not like crash times either. So you know, that's pretty good news overall. Some of this other stuff might play out in a longer time frame in a painful way. And I still think we'll see a recession before the end of the year. But I will say a lot of the big guys, which we talked about this even further back, a lot of the big banks are saying the recession odds are lower. Now, if you recall, a month or so ago when I talked about this, we talked about the history of these predictions and how they're pretty much wrong like 95% of the time. I think at that time they were saying the world's ending, and I was like, okay, three big banks are saying the world's ending, except they're almost always wrong when they say this.
Yeah.
So that prediction has been modified to be less bad, and it still means nothing. So that's where that is.
Huh.
Yeah, and nothing else on economics. I'm sure there'll be more, although we're now in the sell in May, go away phase. So a lot of economic news will slow down and get quieter and boring from here through summer. There'll probably be data points here and there, but I doubt we'll have as many flashy headlines and things like that, just because that's the typical business cycle for financial news and financial reporting. So
Yeah.
that's where that is.
Cool.
Anything else?
I got an email from Nintendo.
Did you get it?
I was told that I'm still on the list and that
All
there's
right,
still a
good.
chance. I was just like, oh, an email from Nintendo. I finally got it.
So
No. Great.
excited.
No.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's gone. Good feeling gone. But it's fine. It's fine.
It's a lie. It's
It's a
all a
lie.
lie.
I did hear that there are some that will just be at stores on release, but I don't know. I think there will be waves, and I don't need a day one. So
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, they should have plenty eventually,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And then what about the Steam thing? You're looking at that still?
yeah. I haven't made up my mind, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I just heard about a friend getting that, and they are loving it.
The Steam Deck.
Uh, yeah, which
Yeah,
I was a little surprised because I don't know them as like gamers. Like I would associate them with like handheld, like
yeah,
Nintendo and all that stuff. Not Steam.
yeah.
And they are in. So this is an interesting thing. I always really thought about Steam as a way to take your library off and travel with you. And I was like, I don't know how many people actually do that because I know I struggle with that. I probably won't use it much. But now I'm starting to see it as an entry point into Steam ecosystem
Oh,
for those that
absolutely.
have always been Nintendo, Game
Uh
Boy,
huh.
whatever type
It
players,
works
right?
the other
Never
way.
thought of it that way. And now that I met, it was like a friend of mine who, like I said, I could associate with a Nintendo, but never with a Steam, like a
Yeah,
computer or PC. They're playing off of Steam now, and
yeah.
so they're building a library. So eventually, they either come over to a Steam computer type thing, which they are making a whole computer from Steam based on this OS. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you heard that. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like you won't have Windows, you'll just have Steam as your
Steam
OS
OS. Yeah.
on a desktop computer, which is interesting. I may do that because I do have a pure gaming desktop, right? So I just switch to the OS and be done with it because I'm pretty sure like 95% of my games are Steam.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was interesting that it's like, oh, this wasn't meant for me. This was meant to bring them into the ecosystem. I had not considered that until I saw that. So
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, it's one of those things where I like it makes sense because I have such a large Steam library that it makes sense to get a Steam Deck, but at the same time, then I won't be able to play the Switch 2 exclusives that I want to play.
nah, who cares about Switch?
I do.
Dollar Nintendo
I
games.
love Nintendo games. But yeah. And also, it's one of those things where Steam Deck is at its life, shelf life, where I could see a new one being announced like next year.
That is true. Although I think they recently said that now again, recently, maybe in the
Yeah.
last 2 years, they said they were not going to be in this like console upgrade race, and that this would be the model for X number of years. Now, again,
Yeah.
it may have been 3 years, and now you're right, that would be next year if it was a couple
Right.
years ago. So,
Right.
based on the memory and
Right.
when that
Right.
announcement was, like, look it up
Right.
because it could be next year. But it was one of those things where they were basically saying, yeah, we're not going to keep making new ones all the time. The idea is to have a product that will work for a long time. So,
Right.
so you don't have to worry about that. But again, that was a while ago.
And it has an OLED, which is really nice. You can get it with an OLED.
Yeah.
But cool. Cool. Well, I think that's all I got, unless you got anything.
That's it.
Cool. Well, if the world's still spinning next week, we'll catch you guys later.
Have a good one.